Hey, welcome. It's good to see you. Digimon Story Time Stranger is launching tomorrow. I'm very excited about it, and I wonder if you're looking forward to it too. I don't have a script today. I just wanted to hang out with you and chat and tell you about a story from the 1990s, which was about 55 years ago now. So I grew up with the Digimon devices. I was just fascinated by these things. I would say, yeah, as a kid, I was absolutely obsessed with Digimon, anything monster related, Monster Ranch or Pokemon. As a kid, that's what I wanted to do all day long. And so with the Digivices, I had around three when I was a kid. And this is around the fifth and sixth grade, something. No, it had to been around fifth grade. And I wanted to see multiple Digimon fight each other simultaneously. If you've never had a Digimon virtual pet, you docked them together and their little components synced up and they were able to battle each other. Now, as a kid, I understood that metal stuff, conducts, signals and electricity. I wasn't particularly a very bright child, I think, but I was quite mischievous. And so I thought, well, you would use wires to connect, say for example, your Super Nintendo to your TV. You use wires to connect that. So why couldn't you use the wires to connect your Digimon? So I thought, my kid brain thought, what if I built a multi-link cable so I could have multiple Digimon battle each other? And so the first thing I did was I used cardboard and electric tape, and I built, a little flat dock. And then I had electric wires that I don't know where I got it from. I must have snuck into somebody's toolbox and taken wires. I'm just thinking about the very, very mischievous, troublemaking fifth grade version of myself. I was always building things that were quite dangerous and problematic. And so, first thing I did was I tested it with two Digimon virtual pets, right? I made a cable that just went from one to one. So instead of plugging the Digimon into each other, you ran a wire between them. And I did that. And eventually figured out, okay, this works, and I made a little marker so I know the orientation of the dock mount. And so, okay, cool. So now what I did was, well, if you can connect two things up, why can't you connect four things up? And as a kid, you don't really know, what you're doing. You're just sort of winging it. And so then I built a second cable, basically, they had the two mounts. And so I built a second cable, had another two mounts, but instead I linked them all together. So it was basically 2 on 2. So you had, on one side, you had the two connector points that went to their Digimon devices, and you had two more connector points that went to two more Digimon virtual pets. And so I couldn't fully test it. I had to take it to school. No, I'm starting to think, because I didn't have three Digimon until about the sixth or seventh grade. Eventually, I got more somehow. And I don't have any now. I'm an adult, and I don't have any of the things that I grew up with. I cast them off. I left them in the past. And so I have no idea where those old Digimon ended up. Hopefully they ended up in a Goodwill or something, and then somebody picked them up and scalped them for $200 a piece or something. So one day in the fifth grade, I showed up to school, and I went to the other guys that were playing Digimon. And, obviously, I talked a lot during class, and I got yelled at a lot by the teacher, and I got sent to the office a lot for talking during class, because class was a little too boring for me. And I said to these kids, I said, hey guys, I built a cable. We can have four Digimon fight each other. I didn't know whether it was going to work or not, because I didn't even have four Digimon myself at that point. I said to them, hey, let's try it at recess. And they said, oh, cool. So at recess, we would have tournaments, right, in the fifth grade. So obviously, the bell rang, we leave class, and I'm just thinking about it. We all were huddling around on the playground, and it took a little while to figure out. And this is the weird thing. It actually worked, but you had to execute it in a very specific manner. So I don't fully understand how it works. I didn't understand it back then because I was a small child, and I don't have Digimon with me now to figure it out. But what I did figure out is you had to hold the terminal, like the connection terminal, the mounting points. You had to hold the cable in place, and one of the Digimon had to press the confirm button to start the battle, to initiate the battle. You go to the battle mode, and it starts a little does a little music, and only one specific one would work, and I'm not sure, because there are variations in the CPU in these things. There are minor variations. I noticed that through process of elimination, only one of them could initialize it. And I'm not sure if the CPU is just a little bit faster or a little bit slower than the others, but if the wrong one initiated it, then the others would be left out. You'd only get a connection between 1 and 2, right? But you have 4 plugged in. But if you picked the right one, if you picked the right one to press the OK button, all 4 of them would get involved in the battle. And so obviously these devices were not designed to take into account having 2 Digivices fight 2 more Digivices. So I assume what was actually happening was one was just sending a signal, and the CPU was just at the right timing to where it was able to trigger and send the signal out to all of them. So you have the 3 other ones, and you had one that was able to send the signal out and able to initialize the battle with all of them. And so our kid brains, we thought that it was actually a 2v2 because there's 2 here and 2 here, but we were looking at the projectiles that the Digimon were shooting out. So we're screaming at this point. We're hooting and hollering, and we're going, "Oh, it's working! I can't believe it's working! They're fighting!" And we thought it was going to be a 2v2, and it was working. But then we noticed, we did it a couple times, and then we noticed, in this kid, just during class, his Agumon had digivolved into Greymon. He was so excited. He was like, "Oh man, yeah, I'm ready for the battle. I just got my Greymon brand new." And he's, "Oh, I was taking good care of my Digimon, right?" And so we start the battle. It's probably the 3rd time we try it now where it all works. We're all 2v2. And we looked at it, and it wasn't 2v2, it was 3v1, because we were looking at the projectiles that were going out and the projectiles that were coming in. And so we had 3 rookies. I had a Betamon, of course, big Betamon fan over here. I was always going for the Betamon. And so it was, I think it was 2 Agumons and my Betamon, and we were going up against this Greymon. And of course, that's not actually what was happening. That's what we thought was happening was, uh-oh, we've ganged up on this guy's Greymon just based on the projectiles that were going out, you know. And then after the battle, his Greymon started the death sequence, and this kid's face went like, the blood just drained from his face, and he went quiet, and he said, "Oh no." And we were looking at it, his Greymon was dying, and we felt so bad because we felt like, oh no, the Greymon that he just got, that just digivolved during class, we killed it. The 3 of us, our rookies, ganged up on his Greymon, and now his Greymon's dying. And I felt so bad that I never brought the link cable to school again, because I thought we killed it. And obviously that's not what happened. It's just what happened, you know, whatever stats his Greymon was, it just died, and maybe he did a bad job taking care of it. But that's the story of the time I built a multi-link cable and killed a kid's Digimon. So yeah, I don't know if that would work on modern Digimon, but I'm certainly interested in trying it. I don't have any Digimon Digivices. I live in Australia, and those devices are very expensive here. I don't know if anyone is interested in you know, an experiment to see if that would work again. But I'm certainly not interested in spending money on buying the Digivices because they're very expensive here in Australia. I would need to purchase 4. But I'm wondering if anyone's interested in an experiment where I would build another link cable, but this time I would use modern techniques like a 3D printer. And if anyone is interested, you know, possibly I could make the designs and then put the model files up on the internet so people can 3D print it, and then I would have instructions, you know, to do the wiring and to build the multi-link cable themselves so they can try the Digimon thing. I don't know, but if that were to happen, I don't know. If people would like to contribute to the Patreon, and if there's enough contributions on the Patreon there to sort of fund picking up multiple Digivices, and then for me spending time building the multi-link cable. I could probably do it in a couple days just to figure everything out and sort it all out and get it working. I'm not sure if that's anything if you're interested in that, but if anyone is interested in that, contribute to the Patreon, and if there's enough, maybe I'll pick up some Digivices, and then I'll build another multi-link cable, and this time I'll share instructions online. So yeah, that's it. All right, thanks very much for watching. I'm just watching. This is so sick. This is Digimon Story Time Stranger, and it's launching tomorrow, and this looks so cool. This is rad. This is rad, 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 rad. Okay. Take care of yourselves, everyone. I'll see you around.